Happy Sunday. Okay, so let's look at the last week of videos in case you missed any. We had, of course, last Sunday, we had the Sunday Social Security Roundup. Monday, we had, this was kind of an explanation because I get the question a lot. Why are they sending me to a mental consultative examination when my problems are physical? And we go into why that might be. And I kind of stress the importance of allowing for divulgence, if you will, of even the most mild of mental health challenges. It could be anxiety with a reduced concentration, things very mild or moderate, because how they may be the deciding factor in your case, even if you're heavy, as per you, is your physical problems. And it has to do with the fact that you have to carve out all 12,000 or so alleged occupations in the national and regional economies, and most physical things do not do that in and of themselves. Okay, so that was what, Monday, Tuesday, the 14th. This was pretty cool. The SSA put out a, did you hear the dog? Put out a report about their goals specifically with timeframes and everything to improve the experience of claimants in terms of wait time on initial recon, wait for hearings, etc. So, it sounded really, for the most part, very favorable. We'll see how it goes, but that was the announcement. So it was good. And again, we'll see how it goes. Okay, the next day, which was, somehow my screen got all cattywampus here. The next day was, what day did we just say? The 14th? Yeah. So the 15th was about the fact that older couples, such as those that are in retirement age, or I guess it could be actually before that, because it's a big bad surprise when it comes, and if you don't have time to pivot and make up for it, you're in trouble. It has to do with the fact that how survivor benefits work when one spouse passes and leaves the remaining half of the couple on his or her own. So it was kind of sad. The next day, on the 16th, that would be, I believe, Thursday. This was about patients' enforcement of rights to access to their medical records pursuant to HIPAA, some of the pros and the cons, and just my thoughts on how there could be a different avenue to get recourse for medical records or against those that deprive you of your right to medical records, since HIPAA is not exactly all that. Or I should say the OCR, Office of Civil Rights, is not all that when it comes to the individual. Okay. And then we had the 17th, fraud law review. That's right. It was a Connecticut fellow who had been ripping off multiple agencies, not just the SSA, for 22 years. I mean, it was really a clever scheme. It was multifaceted, including the fact that he was working the whole time. But it involves unemployment, food stamps, SNAP, Social Security, disability. Really amazing. The fellow was indicted. I do not, if I recall, he was not yet convicted. So Saturday, May 18th. This is about a black and white rule on what kind of work is going to prevent you from filing your claim right now and what you can do about it. People, I see it frequently enough where people file their claim when they have no standing to do so, and they're going to get denied at step one, and it's never going to go to the medical office for a workup. That's what that one was about. Okay, that's it. That was the week, guys. Have a great week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye now. So you just listened to the week's roundup of all 7 days right behind us and what those video tips were. Are you concerned if you didn't necessarily catch the ones from the week prior to that? Don't worry, we're going to attach it right here. Have a great week, guys. Bye. Happy Sunday. Social Security Roundup on Sunday. Okay, so today is what is it today? 12th, May 12th. Can you believe May, spring? Okay, so we're looking at last Sunday was the 5th, obviously. So we're going from the 5th to the 11th on Saturday, yesterday. And let me just see where I'm at. Okay, see if I can read this. My eyes are a little off today. All right, so obviously last week we had the Social Security roundup for the prior week. And then on, that would be Monday the 6th. Oh yeah. I went over some example that occurred live with me at a hearing. And it was a really unique kind of ALJ hearing hypothetical issued by the judge. And I wanted to share it because it was actually the first time I'd heard it laid out this way. And I've been to a lot of hearings. So it was interesting. So I go into that, and that can be helpful for people who are heading into hearings. Whether you're on initial recon or actually already appealed for the ALJ hearing, it's good to, even if you're earlier on, is start to get a grasp on what's going to go on at the hearing. It might help you kind of formulate in your head things that you will be testifying to later on, particularly for pro se's, or if you have a representative that doesn't go over it too much with you, it might be something that could help you. On the 7th, that must have been Tuesday, it was an explanation of if you are deciding to get rid of your representative. And I've got a lot of cautions out there about doing that without first reviewing the risks involved. And I do allude to them here. So you'll want to look at those as well as the video if this is something that's up your alley. And also which form to use, whether you have to use the form, all that jazz. Just kind of what you should expect to do to make that happen. On the 8th, which must have been Wednesday. Oh yeah, it was more about when you are either a claimant or a beneficiary and you want to try to go back to work. And let's say you've been offered a full-time, or you think you found a really good full-time job. You're not sure you can do it. You don't want to risk your benefits. Can you do it? Yes, you can. And we go over what a UWA is and how the Social Security's use of UWAs, also called FWAs, can help you be able to do that without worry. Okay, it's super, super important. And it really gives us the chance to see if we can get out there and get back on our feet for the time being without having to worry about Social Security disability. And then if it doesn't work, we still have our Social Security disability. So a really important topic, I think, for people who endeavor to get back out there. Okay, and the 9th, Thursday. Oh yeah, we touched on function report question number 6, which we have other videos on. If you are unaware, there is actually a playlist for function report do's and don'ts, but this is one of them that I just added. I haven't really done any on number 6 in a while, but it comes up so often I had to bring it up, and it's the issue of napping during the day. Okay, handy for all of you that are heading towards a function report. By the way, that can be if you are on initial or on recon, because now they are, in my experience, in the jurisdictions I am practicing in, I see a request for a function report on reconsideration almost invariably now. And I think that's because of the long delays, the shortage of staffing and all that, that's making everyone's initial take a year, and now you're in recon because you got denied. And what you said a year ago in your function report on initial could very well have changed and gotten worse or gotten better. One or the other. Friday fraud law review. we had a, oh yeah, this is actually a part two to a previous fraud that was reported by the Office of Inspector General and then by me to you. And it seems like it's pretty much the partner in crime, one of the partners in crime of defrauding an 80-year-old lady. And if you saw the other one, there was a total of like $550,000 defrauded out of her to work on her house as a contractor. And her house was worth 135,000. So you may want to take a listen. Very curious about what you think the punishment should be for this fellow who is guilty. You know, there's no he's not merely a defendant, he's convicted. And I'm just curious. He's only 27 years old. What do you think the punishment should be? I would love to hear feedback on that. And I appreciate it when you guys do that. Okay, so then Saturday, oh yes, it was new news. It wasn't good news. It wasn't bad for us per se. It wasn't like the SSA's yanking away a good rule. It came to light the amount of overpayment errors that are happening to married people when they get married, and it causes an overpayment because someone didn't handle the information properly with the SSA or the beneficiary didn't report it. Either one, it can hurt SSI folks and SSD folks, depending. I would think the pain generally happens to when I say SSD, I should have said SSD, SSR, Social Security people, when a marriage is not taken into consideration. But for SSI people, the marriage will tend to, if it's going to do anything, it's going to hurt their benefits and cause an overpayment. Okay, so that was Saturday. So that was it, guys. It was a really fast week, and we're just kind of plowing through hearings and hearing prep and all this stuff while still bringing on board some people and all that good stuff. So anyway, hope you had a good one, and I hope you have an even better one coming up. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.